Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to another edition Star Citizen 3.5 Live. And today, I want to talk about something that I think is on a lot of people's minds, and that is ship size. According to the old adage, it's not the size of the boat, but it's the motion in the ocean. Alright. Giggity, 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 goop. Well, joking aside, size of the ships in 3.5 definitely plays a much bigger role, pun slightly intended, than in previous patches. If you are new to the Star Citizen universe, there are two planets which are a considerable distance away from your spawn point from Port Olisar over by Crusader, the gas giant, which will be coming online at the end of the year 2019. Now, Hurston, one of the planets, is about, I think, 31 million kilometers, and ArcCorp is about 42 million kilometers away. Now, the way ships have been functioning basically up until 3 whenever Hurston came online, was very small ship centric. You were kind of at a disadvantage if you having the larger ships like the Caterpillar, the Starfarer, things like that, mainly because you didn't have the speed that a smaller ship would have, say like a Gladius or a Super Hornet. But now, with the very big distances, as well as the heat system and the quantum drive sizes, it's starting to tip the scales a little bit. So I saw a video by Minion Soldier who was talking about how, people with like fighters aren't having as much fun. I would actually argue, I'd counter that. The smaller ships are quite a lot of fun, especially in Atmo, especially if it's something that's aerodynamic. But I digress. Getting back to the main point at hand is, it seems like larger ships are starting to become more valuable. If you were to try and make that jump from Olisar to Hurston in something like a Gladius or a Super Hornet, you're looking at like a 12 to 15 minute ride, 12 to 15 minute jump, where that same distance in something like a Hammerhead or a Caterpillar or a Starfarer in particular, is going to be much closer to about the 5 minute mark. Now, if I recall correctly, the Starfarer Gemini will make a jump from Port Olisar to ArcCorp, 42 million kilometers, in just under 5 minutes. If I recall, it was 4 minutes, 50 seconds flat. So, that makes the Starfarer quite appealing, especially when you're making those frequent jumps, or if you're doing delivery missions of the higher payout. Now, a lot of people only have just the starter ship, the Aurora, the Mustang, and again, trying to make these long jumps with these starter ships, you're looking at those 12 to 15 minute times, especially if you are just starting out and you don't really know your way around. It's going to be a little bit longer, but that's kind of a little bit different. So I think, having at least one larger ship in your fleet is for your advantage. Now, I'm not saying To have the optimal Star Citizen experience, you need to drop $600. No, not saying that at all. There are many people out there like myself that have more big ships than they know what to do with. Myself alone, I mean, I've got I'm not trying to brag, the Reclaimer, the Hammerhead, the Caterpillar Pirate Edition, the best edition, Starfarer Gemini, and 600i, a couple of constellations, even something constellation sized. I don't remember the exact time that takes, but it is definitely less time than one of the starter ships. Now, one of the really good things is you can buy ships in the game with in-game currency. Something they've been talking about since, I don't even know. I mean, since fucking forever. So I think that kind of helps in, mitigating the need to spend buku bucks IRL to get, lack of a better term, the definitive experience. I don't want to say definitive experience, because I feel like that's very wrong, because there's a lot of stuff you can do that you don't require a large ship for. There are still a lot of missions. In fact, I would say most missions are actually very fighter-centric. There's a lot of bounty missions, mercenary missions. There's the delivery missions. So as long as your ship supports cargo, there's a lot of options out there for you to engage in the, quote, definitive experience. So it's not a necessity that you have a large ship. There are a lot of people, again, like myself, who have all these ships, and they're looking for crew. They're looking for, people to come along with them on their voyage. So it's definitely not something that you need to do. Hell, you don't even really need to have your own friends in the game, although it helps. But it's very easy to come across somebody who has these larger ships who are looking for people to come along. And it makes me really excited for the day when the Idris comes online. It's going to be one of the smaller carrier ships, or when the Kraken comes on, the actual carrier ship. I see that there is going to be the possibility of a lot of emergent gameplay coming about with people just needing transport. So for the person who has just an Avenger Titan, or just a Gladius, or just the Aurora, and they want to go all the way across the verse through a jump point or what have you, easily either put out a beacon or put out in Spectrum or chat, depending on how things are implemented, for a ride, especially with things like the 890 jump on its way. The 890 jump is another capital class or sub-capital right around that area that has internal hangars, or at least one internal hangar. I thought I heard that it has two, excuse me, that are about fighter-sized. The 85X will fit in there comfortably, and there are some fighters around that size. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility to get an 890, and while you're doing a touring mission, maybe there's some VIPs in there, to get a couple of, other people who have their ships that want rides and are willing to pay for it with in-game credits, in-game currency. Now, I think we're going to see a lot more focus on the larger ships. Now, currently, there aren't really missions online specifically for the larger ships. A lot of the delivery missions that I was just talking about still cater to the smaller size ships. The types of cargo that need to get from point A to point B are the small handheld boxes. So you don't need something like the Caterpillar, something that you see on screen that is abso-fucking-lutely gargantuan, to bring a box that's, like 1 or 2 feet all around. You know, it's just not necessary. I'm hoping that with the amount of big ships that we have and that are coming along and coming down the pipeline, more missions that are specifically catered to larger ships will start cropping up. Sure, you can take a bounty mission, you can take a retrieve stolen property mission, you could do a clear out Nine Tails or clear out hostiles in the vicinity of name planet here mission, and you can do those theoretically just fine with the larger ships. But a couple of issues that I've seen are usually when you get to the not original, but when you get to one of the waypoints, you usually have to go 100 kilometers, couple hundred kilometers away, and in a bigger ship, you've got to take into account your acceleration, your stopping, the amount of mass that you have, because when you're in a smaller ship, you can basically pedal to the metal or throttle to the bottom. You can gun it, go full burn as fast as the ship will go, and like 10 kilometers away, kick it off, start to brake a little bit, and you're not going to overshoot it. Whereas you're in something like a Starfarer, something like a Hammerhead, you've got to start to slow down much farther away, closer to like 30 kilometers. And even then, you're not guaranteed to still stop where you want to. Of course, I'm not complaining. It's definitely more in the vein of realism where, if you're in space and you're going, 1,000 meters a second or whatever, and then you kick it off, you're not going to stop on a dime. You're not going to come to a complete stop, very quickly unless you got retro thrusters kicking or, you do some fancy stick work where you flip yourself around and then again kick in afterburn to, try to counteract the forces. But what I'm hoping come online sooner than later are more missions for the larger ships like the gunships. And, hopefully they'll come on soon. What do you think? Do you have large ships? Do you have just the starter? What are your plans? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm actually really genuinely interested to know everybody's thoughts and ideas. Other than that, I think I'm actually going to leave the video here. I've rambled on long enough. I thank you very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. If you like this type of video, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Leaving a like definitely lets me know that you like these types of videos and you'd like to see more. Again, I definitely want to hear from you down in the comments section. Check the description as well. We've got a Discord. We're probably going to try to do an event this upcoming weekend. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. All you beautiful bastards out there, you have yourselves a wonderful day, morning, evening, whenever, wherever you just so happen to be. This is Will, Daylight Gamer, signing off. And the size of the ship is definitely fucking counts. It's, fuck the motion of the ocean. We got the motion of the photon. Yeah, I don't know. This is becoming a train wreck.